Glare is crazy, isn't it? This is Jacob from Wedge Me This. Let's see if I can knock that glare down. Still crazy. That light right there. Interesting. Anyway, sorry about that. This is Jacob from Wedge Me This. Y'all have a great day. Y'all having a great day? I'm having an okay day. This is going to be Wednesdays with Wager, number 3. Week 3, I guess we'll call it. That's what it is. That glare is crazy. I don't understand why that glare is right there. It wasn't there in the other videos. Or at least if it was, I didn't know about it. So, interesting. I'm right here, I'm trying to get onto the YouTube video so I can watch with you guys. With you cool guys. Why is it not letting me go on it? Come on now. Act right. But anyways, last week, we did pretty well, right? I'm not 100% sure. I think the video picks or whatever were 2 out of 3, maybe 3 out of 3. I'm not sure. Believe it or not, guys, I don't keep up with it. I have an overall that I'm looking to hit, and that's what I look for. I make a lot of bets weekly, so there's that. Vikings and Bengals, that's an interesting one, right? But if I don't keep scrolling this, it'll log out on me. So, I don't know why my thing is not picking up as I wish it would. Let's go. I like to know what my delay is and all that. I like to know what my delay is and all that. All right, so I'm about 12 seconds, 10 seconds, something like that. Okay, cool. So, first thing we're going to do here is we're going to get into it. What did we do last week? I don't know. Let's look at it. Let's look at our settled. I want to show you guys a really interesting settled one. There's a lot of from the Monday night. We bet a lot of bets Monday night. It was a crazy one. So you guys can see a lot of wins and losses there. But, you know, winners. Winners, winners, winners. Winners, winners, winners. Still not what I'm looking for. Winners, winners, winners. I had 2 big parlays. I cashed one amount for $2 because it was going to lose. College football stuff. But anyways, I'm showing you guys this because I want you guys to understand that I bet more than just what I put on this. Actually significantly more, right? And my partner also does. He puts a lot of plays in. So there you go. But I'm actually trying to look for something here. Anyways, well, never mind. You guys just get an idea of how much I actually bet. Like today, I got a 2-pick for Bryce Harper and Freddie Freeman. No, that was the other day. No, that was yesterday. Today's is a different one. Oh, we got to look at all these. These are the bets that we've already made on Thursday night, guys. But for the baseball game tonight, this is what I got. I got Bryce Harper over 1.5 total bases and Ohtani over 1.5 total bases for plus 410. But anyways, this is an idea of what I'm just trying to give you guys an idea of what one of my weeks might look like. See, these are all bets that have already been. What the heck is that? These are all bets that have been put in for this week or this day or whatever else. Right? That's already in. So let's get into Thursday. One of the things that I really like about Thursday is that it's a divisional game. I like when they put divisional games on Thursday. I think the teams have a better chance to know each other and not it be really one sided as far as, if you have one team that's really good at preparing versus the other team. That happens sometimes when they're not divisional. When they're divisional, short week, it makes it easier for teams to prepare for each other. They got an idea of who they are already, especially if there's no coaching changes, no philosophy changes. But so right here on my site, we're looking at a 12, minus 12 or plus 12, however you're looking at it. And over 49 and a half, that's actually come down a little. So that means some people are hitting the under. It's an interesting one, right? Buffalo has looked like they can't do any wrong. They get the big upset win versus Baltimore. And then Miami looks like they're lost, right? At least they did against the Colts. They didn't look as bad against the Patriots, but still lost to the Patriots, which is somewhat surprising. I know people thought the Patriots would be better, but I didn't think the Miami would that be that far of a drop off either. So, again, on this one, on this Thursday game, if I'm taking a side, I'm taking the 12. The last 7 games between these two, only 2 of them have been spread out by more than 12 points. So they play closer than people might think. I think people remember a 35-0 and like a 48-20 and stuff, but those were a while ago. Those were quite a while ago. The recent games have been a lot closer for the most part, even with hurt players. So again, I think Buffalo might overlook this one a little bit. They got a homestand. This is like part of a 3-game homestand. I saw him do it against the Jets. I saw him kind of get ahead and then go in cruise control, and they scored like 17 points in the first couple minutes, and then only scored 13 more points for the whole game. So when the Jets gave up, because the Jets gave up in that game pretty early, and when they gave up, the Bills kind of went on cruise control, and so I kind of think they could do that in this one. I think that's a big backdoor. That 12 is a big backdoor here. So if I'm betting this game as the side, I'm taking the 12. I'm not laying the 12. That's my dog dreaming. If you guys can hear that, Charlie, quit. Yeah, he's in there dreaming. So if I'm betting this game, I'm taking the 12. And I know that's probably not going to be the most popular play because people like to play favorites, but the fact is that that's a lot of points for the NFL, especially in a division game. But first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about my favorite bet of the game. This is my favorite bet of the game, and I have some reasoning behind it. So let's go to it. It's in player passing, or however your site does it. And it's down here, and it's the Tua touchdowns over 1.5. Right? Why do I like this so much? It's pretty simple. Pretty straightforward answer here. It's that I think the Dolphins are going to play from behind, so they're going to throw the ball a lot. And the Dolphins do have some big play threats, right? So I think they're going to, 2 touchdowns is not out of the realm of possibility here at all for Tua and the Dolphins. Also, it's not like the Bills are just stopping much, right? I know they stopped the Jets, but the Ravens did anything they wanted. The Ravens just kind of shot themselves in the foot at the end. Let's not forget the Ravens had a huge lead in the fourth quarter. Right, so I'm taking this one. I like this we're going to put a $25 bet in on this. And that's going to pay 75 if we win, plus 128. Oh my gosh, I got to log in. Dang it. All right, no one look at my password. It says I am logged in. Interesting. I am logged in. Aha. Yeah, we can't do it like this because I can't show you all my password. Can't do that. So what we'll do is we'll just go through it. Sorry about that. If you guys are on my Discord, why is that still coming up? Interesting. This thing is not acting right at all. Let's see if I can make a bet. Wow. That's really weird. It says I was logged out, but then I was logged in. Interesting. Well, we made the bet. I like 2 over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Very interesting. Just so you guys know, if my account gets hacked, I know it was you guys. That's a joke, by the way. I hope you guys understand that. I don't really believe that. So that's one of my probably that's my favorite bet of the game. I think that the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins are. They're actually a live dog in this one. I know people are gonna hate me for saying all those things, but I do think they're a live dog in this one. I I think they have a chance to win this game. More so because I think the Bills will let them in it, and that's something that is hard for people when they're betting on sports to understand. That sometimes good teams, they take quarters off, they take halves off, and they do just enough to win. We watched Kansas City do it for 2 years basically, where they did just enough to win. All right, my one of my other favorite bets of this one is on the team props. No, not team props. It's what the heck? Where's that at? Game props? No, I thought it was on team props. Let me see what it says in here. That's what it is. First half. And no, I want the game. There it is. Ha! Game props. We got there. It took us a minute. I like Miami over 18 and a half total points. And I know this kind of fits with what I think about this one is that I think that Miami is going to be in this game. I think that they score 3 touchdowns in this game. So that's why I'm placing this bet. Miami team total over 18 and a half total points. Those are my 2 favorite bets in this game. I know a lot of people are going to like the Josh Allen rushing yards, and they're all good. All that stuff's good. The Josh Allen and Cook touchdown props are way overjuiced. I saw them, they're like 172 or something like that, 182, something like that. That's too many. That's way too many. In this one, that's what I like. I think those 2 are the best plays in the game. And like I said, if you're picking a side here, I'm taking Miami. I'm taking them 12 points. That's just where I'm at on that. All right, those are my 2 plays in this game that I really like. I want to show you guys a parlay that my partner put together. I'm going to show it to you here. All right, it's a 4-pick parlay right here for 2,500. Can I zoom that in? No. See that? If you zoom into my channel there, you look at that. That's a 4-pick parlay for 2,500 odds. Plus 2,500. That's 25 to 1. It's Allen's passing yards over 232. It's Tua to throw 1.5 touchdowns. It's Allen over 40 rushing yards, and it's Cook over 80 rushing yards. You get 25 to 1 on that. Pretty good, right? That's a parlay, but my partner, that was his brainchild. Pretty good. Pretty good stuff. We'll see if it hits. If it does, I mean, the thing is on those, like that one, that's kind of high probability, right? That's what happens in these games. If you guys want to know why that one's so probable, because Miami's given up a ton of rushing yards already this year, like 500 almost, and the Bills have run the ball a lot, well over 40 for Allen a game and 80 for Cook a game. So it's actually high probability as far as props go, like that, and being that it's 25 to 1, you only have to hit it once out of every 25 times if you're doing that, right? Any 25 to 1 bet, you only have to hit it once out of 25 times to break even. So if you're betting the same amount, obviously. But anyways, just the idea behind it is you don't have to hit very many of those to make them work. That's why I have a rule. I like to keep 85% of my bets single bets, and then 15% of my bets I like to keep in the, in the more higher edge bets, the higher profit bets, but lower probability, your parlays, your kind of home run plays, your big single plus money plays, big touchdown props, stuff like that, home run props, those kind of things, right? Those are what I like to keep at 15% or less. And then single bets I like to keep at 85%. And guys, if you'll stick to that ratio, you'll do better at sports gambling. I can guarantee you that. Let's talk about week 3 as a whole. All right, so our first question was from Xander. How are you, Xander, by the way? Cincinnati and the Vikings, both of them are playing backup quarterbacks. The Cincinnati Bengals backup quarterback won a game this week. He came in for Burrow and he won. Drew Sample, I think his name's Drew Sample. He came in and he won. And then Minnesota's backup is a guy we know, Carson Wentz. So it's not a surprise that Minnesota's favored by a full 3 here with Wentz. If I was going to play that game, I still like the Bengals. I still think that I just can't put my money behind Wentz coming off the bench, but I just wouldn't play it. If I was going to play the game as far as just a bet inside the game, I would take that over 41. I expect both teams to score over that. So that's actually my favorite total of the week is to go over that 41 for the Bengals. I will have a bet on that myself, but it's not a 5% player. It's not even, it's just a bet, right? It's just whatever your minimum bet you're going to put on something. That's where I'm at with that one. I didn't like a lot of the totals this week. I didn't think very many of them were in what I look for in totals, like the kind of bets I look for with totals, except for that one right there. The over 41.5 for the Minnesota. I know it's backup quarterbacks, but guys, both of those offenses have dynamic weapons. And also with backups, you tend to have a couple turnovers, right? Turnovers that are going to turn into some points. So I actually like that. I think that's kind of low. I think that should be 45 or 46. But here we are. All right. The next one is how long are we going to ride it out against Tennessee, right? Tennessee's at home getting 4 points here against the super hot Colts that got a huge win against Miami, blew them out, and then got a big comeback win against Denver. Denver kind of let them in the game a little bit. But let's not forget, Denver also played the Titans and basically didn't let the Titans do anything all game. Now, that was Ward's first game, but he's only had a second one since then, which he also didn't do anything in against the Rams. So I don't think he's going to fare much better against the Colts. The only good thing he's got going for him in that game is that he's playing at home. I think he loses his first home loss. 4 doesn't seem outrageous to me. If it's me, I'm probably buying that down to 2.5. I know people don't like to do that, but just in case you get some first game at home luck going on there, some miracle stuff happen. Maybe the Colts come back down to earth a little bit. If I'm playing that one, I'm either taking the Colts money line and sticking it with something, or I'm going to take that down to 2.5. I just don't like it at 4. 2.5 is a lot better. Not saying I won't win at 4. I just would prefer it at a different one. All right, the next one. I like this Rams game. I like the Rams getting 3.5 points going to Philly, right? I'll get to that one, Fuzz. I like the Rams. I think the Rams are sneakily going to be the best team in the NFC as long as Stafford stays healthy. I actually think they're going to be the top squad. Their defense is salty and young, and they got 2 stud receivers, a decent running game. And the Eagles are coming off a huge win against Kansas City. Let's make no mistake. I know they won the Super Bowl last year, but that game was as big as to them as the Super Bowl was nearly. They really wanted to win that game. That's why they were so chippy in it. And I think they fall flat a little here, and I think the Rams have enough to stay within a field goal. I'm not saying the Rams win this game. I'm just saying that they keep it within a field goal. Let's not forget, last year the Rams took the Eagles to the limit in the playoffs in the snow, and Stafford almost pulled it out. Jalen Carter made a big play at the end of the game last year to kind of let the Eagles win that game because the Rams were coming back and they were going to knock them off, it looked like. So I actually like this 3.5 here. I actually think it's probably the best ATS play as far as getting points is. I think getting them 3.5 with a really good team in the Rams. I could see a 23-20 game there all day long. Maybe you get a Stafford fourth quarter drive that seals it for you. I like it. My favorite laying points game, it has to be the Seahawks game with the New Orleans traveling up there to Starbucks land. It's going to be wet. New Orleans plays in a dome. Laying 7.5, I'm not fond of, but the Saints against a very strong Seattle team with a solid defense and a good running game, and led by Sam Darnold now that looks really solid. I like this. This is too much for the Saints to pull this off. The only thing, there's a little bit of a backdoor wiggle there for the Saints, but I just don't think they got the horses to match up with Seattle here on the road, traveling out west, multiple time zones. I think Seattle wins this one handily. I think this is something like 24-10 or something like that. I actually think this is one of the better plays of the week. And then the one that Fuzzy was talking about, Dallas and Chicago. This one has flip flopped. It actually started with Chicago favored, and Dallas was the underdog. Now Dallas has flipped to the favorite slightly, right? They're just leaned slightly. Guys, I don't think Chicago can beat Dallas here. I think that the Bears will look better against the Cowboys defense? I do. I do think they will. And that's why that total's at 50. But I just think at the end of the day, Caleb Williams will figure out how to make enough bad plays to allow the Cowboys to win. And I don't think that the Cowboys will struggle to move the ball on the Bears. I actually think they'll move the ball pretty well. The Bears secondary is a little beat up, and the Cowboys are basically just a throwing team now. So I know they've been running with Javonte Williams a little bit, but I think they're just kind of checking to that when it's there. I think this one, I think the Cowboys win this game. I think it's kind of a gimme right there, at basically even money. Yeah, and you save 2 cents by just laying the 0.5. I mean, that only hurts you if there's a tie, and there's probably not going to be a tie. So, Kansas City Chiefs right here versus the Giants, laying 6. This makes sense. I know people are kind of writing the Chiefs off. You see them in the media and stuff, but the Chiefs have played two teams that are 2-0 and to one score each, and the Chiefs are always at the top of everyone's list. Even the Super Bowl winners from last year, the Chiefs were at the top of their list to knock them off. The Chiefs have been on top for so long that they've just got this thing about them now where they're just that guy, right? They're the Patriots, right? Of old. They're the ones everyone wants to beat. And then we got Detroit and Baltimore. This is actually a sneaky good game, probably. That's why that total's so high. That spread's interesting. I have my doubts that Detroit will stop the run very well against Baltimore. I think Baltimore wins this game at home. Detroit's not the best outside of the dome. Will they score in Baltimore? I do think they will. If I was going to play that on Monday night, though, I still think I'm laying the 5. I don't have that much faith in Detroit to stop Baltimore's run, and I just wonder if they can manage that. It's not a huge game to be playing an ATS play there. I probably won't when it comes Monday. I'll probably figure out some player props and stuff in that one because that's a very heavy player prop game, right? That's the kind of games you want for player props because there's going to be a lot of offensive action, a lot of up and down the field, a lot of quick stuff. So you're going to get a lot of rushing and passing and all that. So that's a player prop heavy game. Not really a lot of reason to get into the side market there. Just stay on the player props. All right. So now let's talk about something I want to talk about. All right. The reason why teasers have become kind of useless. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. All right. So let's go tease games. Let's say we're going to grab Green Bay. Where's the Green Bay? Okay, Green Bay -8. Oh, come on now. And then we'll take Seattle because that was a good one, right? -7. All right, so if you're looking at this one and then you hit teaser, you go to 6 point, which is traditional, you're going to get -152 odds, right? That's terrible. That's terrible for a teaser at -152. You know, you might as well just bet the game singly, right? All right, so how do you get around that? Let me show you. I'm going to show you right here. You go and you adjust your spread, right? So we're going to take this spread down to something like a teaser. All right, we'll go to 1.5 for Green Bay. And then we'll go over here to the Seattle one. We'll grab their spread. Oops, come on now. And we'll take it to 1.5. And it's at 155, all right? We had 152 before, okay? So adjust it a little further. Seattle, let's go to 2.5. Well, come on, stupid thing. And then we'll jump over here back to Green Bay. Take it to 2.5. All right, now we got 134. All right, so that gets better and better as you go. So that's how you do your teasers now, guys. Don't hit the teaser button because they are juicing them things up. This is a much better play, right? 152 or whatever we had before, right? We're getting 134 here. Still not great, but better. All right, so let's look at one that's going to be better, way better than that. All right, let's go Arizona. I like the Arizona teaser side here a lot. Getting 2.5, but let's look at the teaser first and let's pair them with the Bucks. Come on, Bucks, get in there. All right, now let's hit the teaser, 6 point. We're getting 139 there, all right? Not great at all. 139 for a 6 point teaser. Now let's adjust it to the way we want to do it. All right, we just want to take Arizona up to the touchdown. We don't got to go over the touchdown. We're okay with a tie. All right, we'll grab it at the touchdown. And we'll take Tampa here. We'll take them down to -1 and 2.5, right? Just got to make it to where they're winning by a field goal is all we care about. Now we're getting 112. See, this is what I'm talking about is how as far as this works. If you're allowed to adjust your spreads, guys, you should, as opposed to just taking the teaser. Just adjust them to where you feel comfortable with the game, and then that's how you play it. If you just take the 6 point teaser, you're getting juiced the heck up. Vegas does not like teasers. Teasers are basically anti-handicapping, right? If you can tease the game, it's anti-handicapped, and Vegas has had to adjust for teasers because teasers had become such a big part of betting. And so they've juiced them way the heck up. Better way to play it is just do it that way. So for example, let's look at some that I would do. Like Green Bay, I don't think I got to get Green Bay under a field goal, right? To beat the Browns. I don't think I do. Dang it. Well, it logged us out. That's fine. We're not logging back in. We made some bets. You guys saw them. Let's just talk about it. So if we're going to take Green Bay under a field goal, right? Simple. Or to a field goal. Just take them to 3. Then you take Tampa Bay down to 2.5. Seattle down to 3. These games where you don't have to have it down to just win, that's where you're going to find some value in those. You're going to find where you're going to get a better number than just hitting that teaser and eating that -150. Guys, you don't want to eat a bunch of -150 bets. You really want most of your bets to be plus money. In fact, you want at least half of your bets to be plus money, if not 70% of your bets to be plus money, or very close to even, like 110 and below, -110 and below. And the reason this is because you don't want to have to win 65 or 70% of your bets to break even. You want to have to win about 53 to 55% of your bets as a new sports bettor, or as just not a professional sports bettor, because it's going to be way easier for you. If you have to win your bets at any rate over 55%, you're probably not going to do it. And I know I'm going to get people that say, I always win more than that. Do you? Because most likely you don't. Because if you did, you'd do this for a living. Because if you win 57% at 110, you're making money. It takes 57% at -110 bets to make profit. That's how hard it is. All right. If you're doing anything over that, like if you're playing a bunch of -120s, 130s, 240s, all that stuff, guys, you're not winning. You're losing. Because even if you're winning 60, 65%, the juice is eating you up when you lose. So You really want to keep them bets at plus money if you can, or really close to even. If you make every single bet you ever make at plus money, you only have to win 50% of them. That's the best part about plus money, right? So if you made every single bet you've ever made at plus 101, you only had to win 50% to come out ahead. Where the flip side, if you make every bet at minus 101, you had to win at least 51% to make money. So, and that would be basically just breaking even. So again, that's how important it is to get value in sports betting. The more value you get, so that's why guys, I'm not opposed to big touchdown parlays. Like what I mean by that is like you take one guy that's plus 150 for a touchdown and another guy that's plus 150 and you end up getting plus 400 or 500 on it. I'm cool with that because you only have to hit 1 out of 5 of those to break even, right? If you're getting all of them in the 4 to 500 range, you only have to hit 1 out of 5 of those. And if you're picking the guys that are the touchdown vultures on their team that eat up all the touchdowns, then you're going to have enough of those weeks where those hit. I would much rather you do that, or even just individual. If you're betting a bunch of plus 125 to 150 touchdown props, you're only having to hit half of them. And if you're doing 150s, you're only having to hit 75% of, or 25% of them at that point. So again, that stuff is where it's at. You really, guys, you really, really, really have got to be getting a lot of positive value in your bets. If you're not, you're fighting an uphill battle all the time with the vig, with that juice you're eating. That's why I try to keep most of my bets really low vig or plus money. I don't want to have a whole bunch of bets that I'm getting eat up on 130s and 120s and stuff. Don't get me wrong, I do bet them when there's a lot of EV there, when I think they're really going to hit that a lot. Like for example, a lot of times you're going to get touchdown props, right? Touchdown props will be 1.5, but you might have to eat 130 on it. But the guy has thrown 2 touchdowns in every game for 10 years in a row. Like, okay, I can eat that there. There was a couple years ago where McCaffrey scored in a touchdown in every game of the year, right? There was a couple years ago. About the third game, I bet it every week, and I was having to lay 200. But it was almost a guaranteed play, right? We didn't miss. So at that point, there's a value there where the likelihood, the probability of the EV of it matches the cost, right? But then there's a lot of times when you see these teasers are a trick anymore. You really got to make that adjustment to where you just adjust your own lines to where it's where you want to be at, and then take the better payout. If you're just going to eat the 130 to 150 on the teasers, you're going to get crushed. See, teasers used to be great because when they first started, they all ran about 120, which wasn't terrible, right? You were getting 6 extra points in 2 games for 120 instead of 110 per game. So it was you could eat it, right? You could win at that rate and you could make money. But then they bumped them, you started seeing the 130s, and then now it's up to a lot of 140s and 150s. We just saw one of them, right? For a teaser, that's no different. You're adjusting the line the same way, but because the money lines are different, you're just getting punished. So keep an eye on them teasers. I know people like to play teasers. I like to play them myself. But just keep an eye on those guys. Just bet your alternate lines. Put them where you like them. Under the 3s, under the 7s, whatever's comfortable to you, and then parlay them. And that's where you'll get your teaser profit, your value from. So that's kind of my lesson for this night. Again, guys, don't be afraid to take some risks. Also, because it's gambling, right? If you're going to play a 4-pick, don't play a 4-pick that gives you 9 to 1. Play a 4-pick that gives you 25 to 1. You're still risking the same amount of probability, probably. You're not getting good odds at 9 to 1. You should never play a 4-pick that's not at least 11 or 12 to 1. And I know people play 4-picks. 3-picks, same way. If you're not getting 6.5, 7 to 1, then you shouldn't play it. All right. If you're playing a 2-pick, you should get 3 to 2 or 3 to 1. Sorry. A lot of times you'll end up with 3 to 2 or 1.6 to 1 or something. That's not a good 2-pick. You really got to find one where you're getting that 3 to 1 almost, at least 2.5 to 1. You know, you don't, and that's what happens is guys want to put these parlay these big money lines like 150s, 170s to get them into the plus market, and that's you're running a risk. Right now, that's kind of what you're risking with Cook and Henry and Allen and Lamar. They're all minus on their touchdown props, right? Well, but if you just look away from the premier teams and you look at your, I don't know, let's go with, let me think, someone that's it's just scoring touchdowns. You get like your Brees Halls, you know, you get your David Montgomerys, not the household names, right? But these guys score a lot of touchdowns. Your James Connors, these guys score a ton of touchdowns, but you're going to get them at 125 because they just get less action. There's just a lot more to it. Where, you know, everyone wants to bet Derrick Henry to score a touchdown every week because he does, or almost every week, but you're eating the juice when you do it. So keep an eye on that stuff. You know, there's just as good as touchdown props out there every week as the big guys. You just got to look, do some research, keep your eye on things. You know, if a team runs the ball into the end zone, most of the time this stuff is really easy to look up. You look up how does teams usually score touchdowns. It'll give you a rate. It'll be like, well, you know, their passing touchdowns is 38%, and they run the ball in at, you know, 62%. It'll say that. So you know, okay, I need to be betting touchdown props for running backs in this team, not the receivers. So again, that stuff's all really easy to find and look up. It's not, you can just literally type it into Google and you'll find enough spots that give you the same information that you can believe it. So again, guys, thank you for your time. Sorry this session logged out, but we did make a couple bets, though my favorite bets for Thursday. I didn't make any for Sunday. We'll probably come back with a Saturday night video just because I want to see some of the stuff for Sunday. I want to see it move around a little bit. If I was going to just jump on any bets for Sunday right now, it would be that Cincinnati, Minnesota over 41.5 and the Seattle minus 7.5. Other than that, I really kind of want to see a little bit of movement. Hopefully the Rams don't burn me on this and drop down to 2.5. If I can get them to 4, I really like the 4 too. We'll probably hit them again. I did put them in a piece of something. So, and then like I said, adjust your teasers to the way you want them to play, as opposed to just eating that 6 points with that vig. Just adjust them how you like, and then get the better odds, get the better value. So anyways, guys, thank you for your time. I'm out of here. This is Jacob from